Welcome, dear friends, to a gentle journey through the fascinating world of Pokemon evolution. Tonight, we'll drift softly through the transformations of creatures that have captured hearts for generations, those beloved beings whose changes mirror the quiet, steady rhythm of nature itself. From the humble beginnings of a simple Pokemon, growing and evolving into something greater, we'll explore the unique magic behind each evolution, the wonders of new forms, and the deeper meanings hidden within them. Pokemon evolution is a dance of growth, change, and beauty, just like the journey we all embark on in our lives. So, as we settle into the peaceful flow of this story, allow your mind to soften, your breath to deepen, and your body to relax. Take a slow, deep breath with me now. Feel the air fill your lungs, and as you breathe out, let go of the day. Let your body sink deeper into comfort, feeling safe and at ease in this moment of stillness. And if you enjoy drifting through stories like this, you're always welcome to subscribe and softly share where you're listening from tonight. Now, let's begin our exploration of Pokemon evolution, where each transformation tells a story of growth and wonder. Fact 1: The birth of evolution. In the Pokemon world, evolution is the process of a Pokemon changing into a new form, often a stronger and more powerful one. The concept of evolution was inspired by real-world biology, where creatures evolve over time to adapt to their environments. Pokemon evolution can be triggered by various factors, such as leveling up, using special items like evolutionary stones, or even evolving through friendship. This magical transformation carries a deep symbolism representing growth, development, and the ever changing nature of life itself, allowing Pokemon to reach new potential and embark on adventures far beyond their starting points. Fact 2: The first Pokemon evolutions. The first generation of Pokemon featured iconic evolutions that became beloved by fans. Pokemon like Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle each evolved into more powerful forms, with Ivysaur, Charmeleon, and Wartortle marking their growth. These evolutions set the tone for the entire franchise, highlighting the beauty and wonder of change. As each Pokemon transformed, it didn't just become stronger, it also gained new abilities, moves, and characteristics, symbolizing the potential within us all to grow, adapt, and find new strengths as we move through different stages of life. Fact 3: Evolution through friendship. One of the most touching aspects of Pokemon evolution is the idea that some Pokemon evolve through bonds of friendship. Pokemon like Eevee, which evolves into Espeon or Umbreon, require a strong connection with their trainer to trigger their evolution. This evolution represents more than just physical change. It embodies the deep, emotional bond between a Pokemon and its trainer. It's a reminder that love, trust, and companionship can lead to growth and transformation, whether in Pokemon or in the relationships we nurture in our own lives. Fact 4: The evolution of Eevee. Eevee is unique in its ability to evolve into multiple forms, a testament to the diverse ways in which Pokemon can grow. Eevee can evolve into 8 different Pokemon, each with a different type and appearance, including Vaporeon, Jolteon, Flareon, and many others. This versatility makes Eevee one of the most special Pokemon, embodying the idea that there are many paths one can take in life, each offering new opportunities, strengths, and experiences. Eevee's evolution reminds us that change can be beautiful and that we can shape our destiny through the choices we make. Fact 5: The role of evolutionary stones. Evolutionary stones are magical items in the Pokemon world that trigger evolution. These stones, such as the Fire Stone, Water Stone, and Thunder Stone, allow certain Pokemon to evolve into new forms. The stone represents a catalyst for change, an external force that helps a Pokemon realize its potential and transform into something greater. This mirrors how sometimes in life, external influences, like a new opportunity, a life experience, or a relationship, can help us unlock new abilities and evolve into a version of ourselves we might never have imagined before. Fact 6. Evolution by leveling up. Many Pokemon evolve simply by reaching a specific level of experience. This gradual process mirrors the natural progression of life, where we grow and change as we accumulate knowledge and experience. Pokemon like Caterpie, which evolves into Metapod and then Butterfree, show that even the smallest, simplest creatures can grow into something powerful with patience and time. These evolutionary stages remind us that change doesn't always happen overnight. It's the result of consistent effort and growth, no matter how slow or unnoticed it may seem. Fact 7. Evolution and environment. In the Pokemon world, a Pokemon's environment plays a crucial role in its evolution. Certain Pokemon, like those that evolve through the use of evolutionary stones or while in specific locations, reflect the idea that our surroundings can shape who we become. The environment influences how we grow, adapt, and evolve. Just as a plant might need sunlight to bloom, a Pokemon might require a particular environment, like the cold or the heat, to evolve. This teaches us that our context, our environment, and the conditions we face all play a role in the person we become. Fact 8. The emotional evolution of Gloom. Gloom, the poison type Pokemon, offers a unique example of emotional evolution. It evolves into Vileplume or Blossom, depending on its experience with a sun or a leaf stone. The choice of evolution reflects a Pokemon's emotional journey, a choice between two different futures. This emotional connection to evolution demonstrates how decisions, often driven by internal desires or feelings, shape the paths we take in life. Sometimes a moment of reflection, a decision, or a change in perspective can lead to an entirely new chapter of growth. Fact 9. Legendary Pokemon and Evolution. Some of the rarest and most powerful Pokemon do not evolve at all. Legendary Pokemon like Mewtwo, Articuno, and Rayquaza are often seen as the pinnacle of power in the Pokemon world, untouched by evolution. These Pokemon, while not evolving, represent the idea that there are different kinds of growth. Not all growth needs to come from transformation. Sometimes, growth comes from maintaining one's essence, holding on to what makes us unique, and standing strong in the face of change. Legendary Pokemon remind us that greatness can come in many forms, even without evolving. Fact 10. The mystery of shiny Pokemon. Shiny Pokemon are rare, alternate colored versions of Pokemon whose appearance is slightly different from their normal counterparts. While shiny Pokemon don't evolve differently, the discovery of one is often seen as a magical event, an unexpected twist in the evolution of a Pokemon's journey. The allure of a shiny Pokemon is in its rarity, in the way it stands out from the crowd. This special form represents a rare moment of beauty, a reminder that not all growth is obvious or conventional. Sometimes, true beauty is found in the uniqueness of a single, special transformation. Fact 11. Evolution through trade. Some Pokemon evolve through the act of trading, a unique form of growth. Pokemon like Machoke, which evolves into Machamp, can only evolve through a trade. This method represents the idea that transformation sometimes happens through collaboration and connection with others. It's a reminder that sometimes we need others to help us realize our full potential. Just as these Pokemon need a trainer from afar to help them evolve, we too may find our paths shifting when we engage with others, sharing experiences and learning together. Fact 12: The evolution of Kadabra. Kadabra is a Pokemon that evolves from Abra when it gains enough experience, but its evolution is also influenced by the psychic energy it holds. Kadabra evolves into Alakazam when traded, symbolizing the immense growth in psychic power and intellect. This evolution represents the expansion of the mind, reaching new heights of understanding, wisdom, and perception. Kadabra's transformation into Alakazam is a journey from potential to mastery, echoing the idea that intellectual growth and self discovery are constant, ever evolving processes that require both time and the willingness to embrace new perspectives. Fact 13: Eevee's multiple evolutions. Eve is a fascinating Pokemon known for its ability to evolve into several different forms, each representing a different elemental type. From Vaporeon, the water type, to Flareon, the fire type, Eevee shows us that evolution can take many paths. Each of Eevee's evolutions is triggered by specific circumstances, whether through stones, friendship, or time of day. Eevee's story reminds us that life offers numerous choices, each one leading to a unique form of growth. Whether we evolve with external help or within ourselves, the journey of transformation is a deeply personal and beautiful process. Fact 14: The power of the moon. Some Pokemon, like the mystical and beautiful Espion and Umbreon, evolve depending on the time of day and the emotional bond with their trainer. Umbreon, the dark type evolution of Eevee, evolves when exposed to a high friendship level during the night. This evolution is tied to the moon, a celestial body that has long been linked to mystery, intuition, and transformation. Just as the moon guides the tides, Umbreon's evolution reflects the way our emotions, connection to others, and the phases of our lives shape our growth, quietly, under the soft light of reflection. Fact 15: The Leaf Stone's magic. The Leaf Stone is an item that causes certain Pokemon, such as Gloom, to evolve into a new form. This stone evokes the magic of nature, where growth and change are constant yet peaceful. Gloom's evolution into Vileplume symbolizes the flourishing of something once small into a full expression of life and beauty. It's as though, with the leaf stone, a dormant power awakens, much like a plant growing towards the sun. This evolution is a metaphor for embracing change at the right time, letting nature take its course and allowing beauty to emerge naturally. Fact 16: The Firestone's warmth. The Firestone is a catalyst for evolution in several Pokemon, including Eevee, which evolves into Flareon when exposed to it. This stone, glowing with warmth, mirrors the gentle, transformative power of fire, a force that can both destroy and create. Flareon's evolution represents passion, energy, and the spark of transformation. Just as fire refines and shapes its surroundings, the Firestone represents the internal force of change, igniting a Pokemon's potential. This reminds us that transformation can come with intensity, a burning desire for growth that pushes us to evolve in ways we never expected. Fact 17: The evolution of Charmander. One of the original starter Pokemon, evolves into Charmeleon and then into Charizard, symbolizing the gradual awakening of power. Charmander's evolution journey reflects personal growth, starting small, learning, and eventually finding its strength. The transformation into Charizard, a powerful fire flying type, represents the culmination of its potential. Charmander's evolution is a beautiful narrative of perseverance, showing that sometimes growth happens slowly, with each step bringing the Pokemon closer to the fullest expression of itself. It's a reminder that the path to greatness is often paved with patience, persistence, and the courage to keep going. Fact 18: Evolution through stones and love. Certain Pokemon evolve through the bond of love and affection. Togepi, for example, evolves into Togetic when it's loved and cared for by its trainer. Togepi's evolution embodies the deep connection between Pokemon and their trainers, a reminder that love is often the key to growth. This evolution is gentle, symbolic of how love nourishes us, helping us evolve into better versions of ourselves. Togetic's transformation speaks of inner peace, happiness, and the peaceful journey that evolves through nurturing relationships, love, and support. Evolution isn't just physical, it's also emotional and spiritual. Fact 19: Evolution through the Ice Stone. The Ice Stone is an evolutionary stone that triggers the evolution of certain Pokemon, like the beautiful Alolan Vulpix. This stone represents the chill of winter, the quiet, slow beauty that comes with the changing seasons. When Vulpix evolves into Ninetales, it transforms into a majestic creature, its beauty amplified by the evolution. The Ice Stone's power shows that growth can happen in the quietest, most serene of moments, like the silent fall of snow. It's a reminder that transformation doesn't always have to be loud or dramatic. Sometimes, it's the softest moments that bring the most stunning changes. Fact 20: The Moonstone's mystical influence. The Moonstone is another evolutionary stone that influences several Pokemon, such as Clefairy and Jigglypuff. It brings a sense of magic and mystery, connected to the celestial influence of the moon. Clefairy's evolution into Clefable, under the guidance of the Moonstone, reflects the quiet power that comes with embracing one's full potential. The Moonstone's soft, luminous energy evokes the peace and tranquility that come with change, reminding us that growth doesn't always need to be driven by urgency. Sometimes, the most profound transformations happen when we allow ourselves to be guided by gentle forces, like the moon's steady pull. Fact 21: The evolution of Magikarp. Magikarp, a seemingly useless Pokemon that can barely do anything other than splash, undergoes one of the most iconic transformations in the Pokemon world. When Magikarp evolves into Gyarados, it becomes a powerful flying type, full of strength and ferocity. This evolution is symbolic of hidden potential, the idea that even the most humble beginnings can lead to greatness. Magikarp's evolution teaches us that growth isn't always immediately obvious. Sometimes, the transformation comes only after persistence and belief in one's abilities. It reminds us that even the smallest efforts can lead to great, unexpected change. Fact 22: Evolution through a Thunderstone. The Thunderstone is a special evolutionary stone that causes several electric type Pokemon to evolve. For example, Pikachu evolves into Raichu when exposed to the Thunderstone. This electrifying transformation represents energy and excitement and the potential for something small to become mighty. Raichu's evolution symbolizes that with the right spark, we can move from one phase of life into the next, evolving with purpose and vigor. The Thunderstone teaches that there's a time to gather energy and a time to release it, allowing us to shine brighter in the process. Fact 23: The role of the Sunstone. The Sunstone is another evolutionary stone, and it plays a crucial role in the evolution of certain Pokémon, such as Sunkern into Sunflora. This stone draws upon the energy of the sun, representing vitality, life, and growth. The evolution from Sunkern to Sunflora shows how transformation can be linked to the warmth and light we receive. Just as the sun nourishes plants and helps them grow, our own evolutions are often nurtured by the warmth of love, care, and time. The Sunstone's magic lies in its quiet ability to bring out the potential hidden within. Fact 24: Evolution by trade, Machoke to Machamp. Machoke's evolution into Machamp is another example of Pokemon evolving through trade. As a fighting type Pokemon, Machoke's strength is a reflection of its dedication and training. However, its transformation into Machamp comes only when it is traded, symbolizing the value of connection and collaboration. This evolution suggests that sometimes we cannot reach our full potential alone. We need others to help us evolve, just as Machoke relies on a trainer's partnership to reach new heights. It's a reminder that growth often happens through relationships, and our paths are intertwined with those we meet. Fact 25: The evolution of Pichu Pichu is the pre-evolutionary form of Pikachu, a small electric-type Pokemon that evolves into Pikachu when it forms a strong bond of friendship with its trainer. This evolution highlights the power of relationships in shaping who we become. The journey from Pichu to Pikachu is not only one of growth in strength, but also emotional development. It reminds us that evolution is not always about power or abilities. It is also about the connections we form with others and the love and trust that help us reach new levels of potential. Fact 26: The evolution of Togepi. Togepi evolves into Togetic when it experiences a strong emotional connection with its trainer, symbolizing how relationships can shape our evolution. Togepi's evolution is a gentle one, reflecting the nurturing, caring bond that grows over time. Just as Togepi evolves into Togetic through love, it shows that transformation often occurs through patience, care, and emotional growth. It is a reminder that sometimes we need to feel loved and supported to reach our potential, and the process of change is often slower and softer than we expect, filled with warmth and care. Fact 27: The power of the Dawnstone. The Dawnstone is an item that causes Pokemon like Kirlia to evolve into Gallade or Gardevoir, depending on its gender. This stone evokes the tranquil, quiet energy of the early morning, where the world is still and the possibilities are endless. Gallade, evolving from Kirlia through the Dawnstone, represents honor, strength, and determination. This evolution suggests that certain moments in life, like the first light of dawn, mark the beginning of a new phase of growth. The Dawnstone reminds us that some evolutions are shaped by timing, the right conditions, and the right energy. Fact 28: The Ice-type evolution of Snorant is a Pokemon that evolves into either Glalie or Froslass, depending on gender and conditions. The Ice-type evolution of Snorant represents the cold yet stunning beauty of winter. Glalie, the evolution of Snorant, is a powerful Ice-type Pokemon that grows stronger through its transformation. This evolution evokes the harsh yet serene nature of winter, when the world slows down and only the strongest can endure. Snoran's evolution reminds us that sometimes change comes with a chill, and it is through adversity that we grow the most, like ice slowly taking shape under the winter sky. Fact 29: The evolution of Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur's evolution into Ivysaur and then into Venusaur is a journey of growth and maturity. Starting as a small grass poison type Pokemon, Bulbasaur slowly transforms, each stage symbolizing different phases of life. Ivysaur, the next step in its evolution, begins to show the growth of a flower about to bloom, a visual metaphor for change. Venusaur, the final form, represents maturity and the blossoming of potential. This gradual evolution mirrors the way we grow, slowly, steadily, with each step leading us closer to our full potential, just like a flower growing towards the light. Fact 30: Evolution and the role of nature. Many Pokemon evolve in ways that reflect the natural world, responding to the environment around them. For example, rock type Pokemon like Onix evolve into Steelix when exposed to a metal coat, symbolizing the power of the earth and the materials that make up the world. Nature's elements, the earth, the sky, and the oceans, often play a central role in evolution, showing us that growth is deeply connected to our surroundings. It's a gentle reminder that our environment shapes who we are and that the world around us provides everything we need for growth and transformation. Fact 31: The evolution of Beldum, a steel psychic type Pokemon, evolves into Metang and then into Metagross, representing the growth of intellect and strength. From a single floating metallic body, Beldum's evolution is slow and gradual, a metaphor for mental and emotional maturation. It symbolizes how, much like a child learning to think and adapt, Beldum's journey to Metagross requires patience, time, and practice. This transformation is a reminder that even the most quiet, subtle beginnings can lead to something powerful. Growth is often not immediate, but built through consistent effort, learning, and personal evolution. Fact 32: Evolution of Trico, a grass type Pokemon, evolves into Grovel and then into Sceptile. So Trico's evolution represents the quiet power and growth of nature itself, starting small and slowly reaching for the sky. As Trico evolves, it gains speed and strength, becoming a fully realized agile Pokemon. The path from Trico to Sceptile embodies the beauty of natural growth, how patience and perseverance can transform even the smallest of creatures into something magnificent. This journey is a reminder that change comes not only through power, but through resilience, adaptability, and the willingness to reach for new heights, no matter the challenges. Fact 33: The evolution of Magnemite, a steel such electric type Pokemon, evolves into Magneton and then into Magnezone in the presence of special conditions. Magnemite's evolution journey represents the power of attraction and magnetic forces in both the literal and figurative sense. As it evolves, it becomes more powerful, embodying how focus, persistence, and aligning with the right forces can lead to growth. This evolution reflects how we too must find our true north, aligning ourselves with the right goals and values, drawing strength from the forces around us to reach our potential and transform into our highest form. Fact 34: Evolution through the sun. Certain Pokemon, like Solrock and Lunatone, evolve when exposed to the light of the sun, reflecting the deep connection between nature's cycles and evolution. These Pokemon represent the dual forces of light and dark, the balance of opposites that drives their growth. As they evolve, They become more attuned to their environment, symbolizing how transformation is often linked to the forces of nature. Just as the sun brings life and warmth, it also marks the changing of seasons and phases in life. This evolution reminds us that change often comes with the cycles of nature. Fact 35. The role of evolutionary bonds. Some Pokemon evolve through deep bonds with their trainers, such as Pancham, which evolves into Pangoro. This evolution occurs when Pancham becomes close to its trainer, showing how relationships are a key component of growth. This transformation illustrates how the emotional connections we form can influence our development and help us unlock new potential. Just as Pancham requires a specific bond to evolve, we too may find that our personal relationships and the people we care about can shape who we become, guiding us through the stages of our own transformations. Fact 36. The evolution of Munchlax. Munchlax, the pre-evolution of Snorlax, represents the journey from innocence to experience. Munchlax evolves into Snorlax when it reaches a certain level of friendship with its trainer, symbolizing how deep connections can foster growth. Snorlax, known for its calm demeanor and love of sleep, embodies the wisdom and tranquility that come with age. This evolution represents the transition from playful innocence to a more grounded, reflective state of being where one's experiences shape their ability to find peace, strength, and balance in the world. It reminds us that our growth comes through connections and understanding. Fact 37. Evolution through happiness. Some Pokemon evolve when they experience great happiness, like Chimecho, which evolves from Chimicho through positive experiences and joyful moments. This transformation speaks to the power of positive emotions in fostering growth. Chimicho's evolution reflects how happiness and contentment can act as catalysts for change, encouraging us to evolve not through struggle or hardship, but through joy, love, and fulfillment. It reminds us that sometimes evolution happens most effortlessly when we embrace happiness, allowing it to guide us toward our highest potential in a peaceful, fulfilling way. Fact 38. The evolution of Ralts. Ralts, a psychic fairy type Pokemon, evolves into Kirlia and then into Gardevoir or Gallade, depending on gender. This evolution is deeply tied to emotions, reflecting how growth often comes from understanding and managing our inner selves. Ralts' transformation embodies emotional growth as it develops from a timid and shy Pokemon into a powerful, elegant form, either as a Gardevoir with its grace and protective nature, or Galad, a noble and determined warrior. This evolution highlights that personal growth comes from navigating emotions, embracing change, and stepping into new roles that reflect our inner strength. Fact 39. The role of the shiny stone. The shiny stone is an evolutionary stone that causes certain Pokemon, like Togetic, to evolve into Togekiss. This evolution is linked to the concept of beauty, grace, and a higher form of existence. Togetic's transformation into Togekiss symbolizes a transition to a more peaceful and refined state, much like how we seek to evolve into better versions of ourselves as we age. The shiny stone reminds us that beauty isn't just skin deep, it's about inner transformation, achieving a higher state of being that comes from growth, wisdom, and self-awareness. Fact 40. The evolution of Seedo. Seedo, a grass-type Pokemon, evolves into Nuzleaf and then into Shiftry. The journey from Seedo to Shiftry reflects growth through perseverance and resilience, much like the way a plant grows and adapts to its environment. Seedot's evolution is marked by the acquisition of strength and new abilities, symbolizing how our own growth is influenced by the challenges we face. Just as a seed must push through the soil to reach the sunlight, we too must face obstacles and grow stronger, embracing the change that lead us to a fuller expression of ourselves. Fact 41: Evolution of Charmander into Charmeleon. Charmander evolves into Charmeleon at level 16, and this transition marks the beginning of a fiery transformation. Charmander, small and innocent, becomes Charmeleon, a passionate and somewhat rebellious Pokémon, signifying the stirrings of maturity. Charmeleon's fiery tail reflects the growing strength and fiery spirit within, showing that with change comes both challenges and empowerment. This evolution symbolizes the early stages of personal growth, where one begins to embrace strength and individuality, testing boundaries while becoming more attuned to one's inner power. Like Charmeleon, we too go through phases of boldness and discovery on our journey. Fact 42: Evolution of Bulbasaur into Ivysaur. The transformation of Bulbasaur into Ivysaur is a gentle metaphor for growth and blossoming. Bulbasaur, with its small flower bud on its back, evolves into Ivysaur as it learns, grows, and experiences new aspects of life. Ivysaur represents the phase where potential begins to show, with the flower preparing to bloom. It reminds us of the quiet, often unnoticed progress that occurs within us as we mature. Just as Ivysaur evolves into Venusaur, its final form, we too continue evolving, one step at a time, unfolding into a fuller, more powerful version of ourselves. Fact 43: The evolution of Machop evolves into Machoke at level 28, and then into Machamp, the mighty fighting type Pokemon. This evolutionary line represents the power of dedication and hard work. Machop begins as a small, determined fighter, and through strength, both mental and physical, it transforms into Machamp, a symbol of ultimate strength and mastery. Machop's evolution reminds us that growth often requires effort, discipline, and persistence. Through consistent training and focus, we can unlock our own inner power, just as Machop does, reaching new levels of potential that are shaped by the choices and effort we put in. Fact 44: Evolution of Evil into Vaporeon. Eva's evolution into Vaporeon is triggered by the use of a water stone, transforming the little normal type into a graceful water type. Vaporeon's flowing fins and elegant movements mirror the fluidity and adaptability of water itself. This evolution is a beautiful reflection of the adaptability we all must have in our lives. Just as water can change its form to suit its environment, Vaporeon reminds us that transformation can be both graceful and necessary to overcome obstacles. It speaks to the quiet strength of those who evolve to flow with the changes in life, adapting and thriving in new circumstances. Fact 45: Evolution of Eevee into Jolteon. When Evo evolves into Jolteon using a Thunderstone, it becomes a fast electric powerhouse, symbolizing the swift, energetic nature of transformation. Jolteon's evolution represents the sudden burst of energy that sometimes accompanies change, just as a bolt of lightning strikes out of nowhere. This electrifying evolution teaches us that sometimes change doesn't come gradually. It hits us like a flash of inspiration or opportunity, urging us to act quickly. Jolteon's swift evolution into its electric form speaks to the powerful, sometimes unpredictable forces of nature that drive our personal transformations. Fact 46: The evolution of Eevee into Flareon. When Eevee is exposed to a firestone, it evolves into Flareon, a fiery embodiment of power and passion. Flareon's evolution is a symbol of the heat and intensity that can ignite change in our lives. The fiery energy that drives Flareon forward shows how sometimes transformation comes with a burst of motivation, a flame that pushes us to grow beyond our limits. This evolution teaches us that some changes are sparked by a strong internal drive, a burning desire to reach new heights, and an unyielding will to overcome obstacles and embrace the heat of progress. Fact 47: The evolution of Caterpie. Caterpie's evolution into Metapod and then into Butterfree is a classic example of growth and metamorphosis. Caterpie starts as a simple, fragile caterpillar, but through its evolution, it transforms into the elegant, graceful Butterfree. This evolution represents the journey of self discovery and personal change, moving from a state of vulnerability to one of freedom and beauty. Just as a butterfly emerges from its cocoon, Caterpie's evolution speaks to the quiet, transformative power of patience and growth, reminding us that sometimes the most beautiful changes take time and are shaped by the experiences we gather along the way. Fact 48: The evolution of Pidgey. Pidgey evolves into Pidgeotto and then into Pidgeot, a powerful flying type Pokemon. This evolution speaks to the journey of empowerment and freedom. Pidgey, small and humble, grows into a graceful Pidgeot, symbolizing the strength that comes with growth and experience. The evolution from Pidgey to Pidgeot mirrors how we too evolve from a state of uncertainty to one of confidence. Like Pidgeot soaring high, we evolve into stronger, more capable versions of ourselves, finding our wings and the courage to reach for new heights, leaving the safety of the ground behind as we soar into the unknown. Fact 49: Evolution of Abra into Kadabra. Abra evolves into Kadabra once it gains enough experience and begins to harness its psychic abilities. Kadabra, now a more focused psychic type Pokemon, represents the awakening of inner strength and power. Its evolution reflects the journey from potential to realization, how we must first tap into our latent abilities before we can fully understand them and put them to use. Kadabra's growth speaks to the process of unlocking one's full potential, recognizing the inner power that's been waiting to emerge, and embracing the wisdom and control that comes with the evolution from the known to the unknown. Fact 50: The evolution of Zubat evolves into Golbat, a Pokemon known for its ability to fly freely in the dark. Zubat's evolution is symbolic of breaking free from limitations and embracing one's freedom. Zubat, initially confined to the cave-like darkness, transforms into Golbat, gaining the ability to navigate the world with greater independence and power. This evolution shows us that growth often comes from breaking free of our confines, whether physical or mental. Just as Zubat's wings allow it to soar through darkness, we too find strength in our ability to evolve beyond our circumstances and find our own light. Fact 51: The evolution of Clefairy evolves into Clefable when exposed to a moonstone, representing a quiet, serene transformation. Clefairy, with its gentle nature, becomes Clefable, a more elegant and graceful Pokemon. This evolution is symbolic of the quiet, gentle power that lies within all of us, waiting for the right moment to emerge. Just as Clefable glows softly under the moonlight, its evolution teaches us that sometimes growth comes in the form of stillness, patience, and embracing the calm power that grows quietly inside, awaiting the perfect time to shine brightly in the world. Fact 52. The evolution of Diglett, the small ground type Pokemon, evolves into Dugtrio when it reaches a certain level of experience. Dugtrio, a trio of Diglets, symbolizes teamwork and the strength that comes from collaboration. While Diglett is alone and small, it transforms into Dugtrio, reflecting the idea that we are often more powerful when we come together with others. This evolution teaches us the importance of unity and connection in our own growth. Just as the three Diglets work together to become something stronger, we too can achieve greater things when we embrace the power of teamwork. Fact 53. Evolution of Zorua evolves into Zoroark, a dark and mysterious Pokemon that can create illusions. This evolution represents the journey from innocence to mastery, as Zorua's playful and mischievous nature grows into Zoroark's ability to manipulate reality. Zorua's transformation is symbolic of the ways in which our experiences shape us, helping us develop skills and abilities that we didn't know we had. Just as Zoroark can create illusions, we too evolve by learning to shape our perception of the world and navigate its complexities, embracing the power of self expression and personal transformation. Fact 54. The evolution of Sandshrew. Sandshrew, a small ground type Pokemon, evolves into Sandslash, a stronger and more defensive creature. Sandshrew's evolution speaks to the strength that comes from protection and resilience. As it evolves, Sandslash gains sharp claws and a toughened exterior, reflecting the process of growing stronger in the face of adversity. This evolution teaches us that sometimes growth is a response to the challenges we face. Like Sandslash, we too can evolve by developing the strength to protect ourselves and those we love, using our experiences to build resilience and fortitude in an ever-changing world. Fact 55. The evolution of Roselia. Roselia evolves into Roserade when exposed to a shiny stone, symbolizing the refinement of beauty and elegance. Roselia, a sweet yet fragile Pokemon, transforms into the more graceful and powerful Roserade. This evolution represents the idea that growth is not always about gaining strength, but also about refinement and the honing of one's abilities. Roserade's elegant appearance and deadly moves reflect how transformation can also be about becoming more focused and purposeful. It's a reminder that growth can lead us to become more than we ever imagined, blending beauty with strength in perfect harmony. Fact 56. The evolution of Shroomish, a grass-type Pokemon, evolves into Breloom, a more powerful and dynamic form. Shroomish's evolution represents the process of coming into one's own, growing from a humble and passive existence into a Pokemon that can move with speed and grace. Breloom's fighting abilities and its unique grass fighting type combination show how transformation often involves embracing new aspects of oneself. Just as Shroomish evolves into Breloom, we too undergo transformations where we learn to combine different aspects of our personality, strengths, and abilities, ultimately finding power in the integration of various elements of our being. Fact 57. Evolution of Snorunt into Glully. Snorunt, a small ice-type Pokemon, evolves into Glully, a larger, more powerful ice type. This evolution represents a shift from fragility to strength, much like how we transition from vulnerability to resilience as we grow. Snorunt's transformation into Glully speaks to the idea that growth often requires us to shed our limitations and embrace a more powerful version of ourselves. Just as Snorunt evolves into Glully in the harsh, cold environment of the ice type, We too must learn to face challenges and evolve into stronger, more capable individuals when life demands it. Fact 58. The evolution of Chimchar, a fire type Pokemon, evolves into Monferno and then into Infernape, reflecting a journey from playfulness to mastery. Chimchar begins as a small, energetic Pokemon filled with untamed potential. As it evolves, it gains more control over its fiery nature, becoming Monferno and eventually Infernape. This evolution symbolizes the process of learning to control our passions and impulses, turning raw energy into purposeful strength. Infernape's fiery spirit and its fighting abilities reflect the ways in which we can evolve by harnessing our internal fire, shaping our passions into focused action. Fact 59. Evolution through the sun. The Sunstone is used to evolve certain Pokemon, such as Sunkern, into Sunflora. This stone represents the nourishing power of the sun, which helps life grow and thrive. Just as the sun gives life to plants, the Sunstone allows Sunkern to evolve, symbolizing the ways in which external forces help us evolve. This evolution speaks to the idea that growth often requires external guidance, whether it's a moment of inspiration, a change in perspective, or the influence of a mentor. Like the sun, these forces provide warmth and direction, helping us reach our fullest potential. Fact 60. The evolution of Tentacool. Tentacool, a water gym poison type Pokemon, evolves into Tentacruel, a stronger, more resilient version of itself. This evolution represents the process of gaining power and adaptability. Tentacool, while weak and vulnerable, evolves into Tentacruel, gaining both physical strength and the ability to defend itself with its tentacles. The evolution reflects how growth often comes through learning to adapt to one's environment and circumstances. Tentacruel's transformation shows that strength is not just about raw power, it's about learning how to survive and thrive in the world, developing resilience through experience. Fact 61. The evolution of Pichu, a small and fragile electric type Pokemon, evolves into Pikachu through strong bonds of friendship. This evolution reflects how growth can be shaped by emotional connections, as Pichu's affection for its trainer triggers its transformation. Pichu's journey is a gentle reminder that the relationships we nurture can influence our development. Like Pichu, we evolve not just through experience, but through the love and trust we receive from others. This transformation highlights the importance of emotional bonds in our lives, showing us that sometimes the most meaningful changes come from connection and support. Fact 62. Evolution through the Dusk Stone. The Dusk Stone is an evolutionary stone that triggers the evolution of certain Pokemon, such as Mismagius and Honchkrow. This stone represents the mystical, mysterious aspects of transformation, guiding Pokemon into their dark and powerful forms. The Dusk Stone's magic evokes the stillness and quiet of the evening, where the world transitions from light to darkness. Just as nightfall marks a time of change in the natural world, the Dusk Stone symbolizes how transformation often comes during quieter, introspective moments, urging us to embrace the unknown and find strength in the stillness of change. Fact 63. The evolution of Murkrow. Murkrow, a dark flying type Pokemon, evolves into Honchkrow when exposed to a Dusk Stone. Honchkrow represents the evolution of power, both in strength and influence. As Murkrow transforms into Honchkrow, it becomes more formidable, taking on the role of a leader. This evolution symbolizes the process of stepping into authority and responsibility, embracing one's power. Honchkro's evolution teaches us that growth is often about taking on new roles and finding the courage to lead. It reflects the strength that comes when we accept our potential and rise to meet the challenges ahead with confidence. Fact 64. The evolution of Cleffa Cleffa, the pre evolution of Clefairy, evolves into Clefairy through high friendship, emphasizing the deep connection between Pokemon and their trainers. Cleffa's journey reflects how growth is often tied to the emotional bonds we form with others. As Cleffa evolves, it moves from a fragile, timid state to a more confident and graceful form, symbolizing the way we develop and mature through positive relationships and experiences. This evolution highlights the importance of love and companionship in shaping who we become, showing that the warmth of these connections can guide us toward our fullest potential. Fact 65. The evolution of Combi Combi, a bug flying type Pokemon, evolves into Vespiquen, its female counterpart, when it reaches a high enough level. This evolution symbolizes the themes of hard work and teamwork, as Combi works alongside other Combi to form a collective whole. The evolution into Vespiquen represents leadership and strength, as the queen bees leads the hive. It teaches us that sometimes growth is not just about individual achievement, but about contributing to something greater than ourselves. Vespiquen's evolution reminds us that leadership and success often come through collaboration, hard work, and the ability to work towards a shared goal. Fact 66. Evolution of Electrike, an electric type Pokemon, evolves into Manectric, symbolizing the growth of energy and vitality. Electrike, small and eager, becomes Manectric, a more powerful electric type Pokemon capable of generating immense amounts of electricity. This evolution represents the harnessing of potential energy, turning raw potential into focused power. Just as Electrike grows into Manectric, we too evolve by learning to channel our own energy into meaningful action. This transformation reminds us that growth is about discovering how to direct our inner power and focus it toward our goals, creating something strong and electrifying in the process. Fact 67. The evolution of Swablu, a normal flying type Pokemon, evolves into Altaria when exposed to a moonstone. This evolution speaks to the themes of freedom and flight, as Swablu transforms into Altaria, a Pokemon with beautiful cloud-like wings. Altaria's evolution symbolizes the freedom that comes with embracing one's true self, soaring above the world's challenges. Just as Altaria spreads its wings and takes flight, this evolution encourages us to release our limitations and embrace the vastness of our potential. It's a reminder that growth can be liberating, allowing us to rise above and navigate life with grace and confidence. Fact 68. The evolution of Axu, a dragon-type Pokemon, evolves into Fracture and eventually into Haxorus, symbolizing the path of personal growth and strength. Axu starts as a small, somewhat vulnerable dragon, but as it gains experience, it transforms into a powerful and majestic Haxorus. This evolution represents the steady accumulation of power and wisdom that comes with time and effort. Haxorus, with its sharp tusks and fierce nature, teaches us that growth often involves persistence, overcoming challenges, and harnessing the inner strength that is cultivated through experience and determination. It's a reminder that greatness is built gradually, one step at a time. Fact 69. The evolution of Turtwig, a grass-type Pokemon, evolves into Grotle and then into Torterra, symbolizing the growth of endurance and the connection to nature. Turtwig's evolution represents the steady, unyielding growth of a tree, beginning small but eventually becoming something strong and imposing. As Turtwig evolves, it gains power and wisdom, reflecting the idea that growth is not always quick, but it is certain. This evolution teaches us that, like Turtwig, we must remain grounded and patient in our journey. With time, our efforts will lead to growth, and we will eventually become as strong as the mighty Torterra. Fact 70. The evolution of Mudkip, a water-type Pokemon, evolves into Marshtomp and then into Swampert, showcasing the progression of resilience and adaptability. Mudkip's evolution reflects how one's abilities can evolve to meet new challenges. As Mudkip transforms into Swampert, it gains the ability to navigate both land and water, symbolizing the growth of versatility and strength. This evolution teaches us that adaptability is key to overcoming obstacles. Just as Mudkip learns to balance its abilities in different environments, we too must learn to adapt and grow, evolving into individuals capable of thriving in various aspects of life. Fact 71. The evolution of Larvitar, a rock dark type Pokemon, evolves into Pupitar and then into Tyranitar, a powerful and intimidating Pokemon. This evolution symbolizes the power that lies in persistence and the gradual growth of inner strength. Larvitar begins as a small, fragile Pokemon hidden within a protective shell. As it evolves, it breaks free of its limitations, emerging as Tyranitar, a force to be reckoned with. This transformation teaches us that growth often requires us to break through our own barriers, finding the strength within to evolve into something much more powerful than we once imagined. Fact 72. The evolution of Pidgey into Pidgeot. Pidgey evolves into Pidgeotto and then into Pidgeot, symbolizing the growth of freedom and confidence. As Pidgey evolves, it sheds its small, timid nature and gains strength, eventually soaring through the skies as Pidgeot. This evolution represents the journey from uncertainty to self-assurance, showing that as we grow, we too become more capable of overcoming obstacles and embracing the freedom to express ourselves fully. Just as Pidgeot rises higher with each stage, we are reminded that growth often leads us to greater heights, giving us the wings to chase our dreams with confidence. Fact 73. The evolution of Rhyhorn, a ground rock type Pokemon, evolves into Rhydon and then into Rhyperior, representing the development of resilience and strength. Rhyhorn's journey from a small, rocky Pokemon to the powerful Rhyperior reflects the process of overcoming obstacles and building upon one's foundation. The evolution into Rhyperior signifies that strength is not just physical, it is the result of perseverance, experience, and the ability to adapt. Rhyhorn's evolution reminds us that, like the sturdy rock it embodies, growth requires a firm foundation, but with time and effort, we can evolve into a more resilient, formidable version of ourselves. Fact 74. The evolution of Trubbish. Trubbish, a poison-type Pokemon, evolves into Garbodor, symbolizing the idea that growth can emerge from the most unexpected places. Trubbish starts as a humble, discarded Pokemon, but it evolves into Garbodor, a more powerful and imposing figure. This evolution speaks to the idea that even situations that seem unworthy or unpleasant can lead to transformation. Just as Garbodor evolves from what seems like refuse, we too can evolve from challenging circumstances, taking what we've learned and turning it into strength. The evolution of Trebuch teaches us that nothing is ever wasted. Growth can come from anywhere. Fact 75. The evolution of Togepi. Togepi evolves into Togetic through happiness, representing the power of love, positivity, and emotional bonds. Togepi's journey from a fragile egg-shaped Pokémon to the elegant and serene Togetic speaks to how transformation is often fueled by joy and connection. This evolution teaches us that sometimes growth happens most naturally when we are surrounded by love and care. Just as Togepi evolves through the nurturing bond with its trainer, we too evolve by fostering positive relationships, embracing love, and cultivating happiness in our lives. It reminds us that joy can be the catalyst for profound change. Fact 76. The evolution of Skitty Skitty evolves into Delcatty when exposed to a moonstone, representing the transition from innocence to maturity. Skitty begins as an adorable, playful Pokemon, but as it evolves into Delcatty, it becomes more elegant and graceful. This evolution symbolizes the way we all grow, starting from a playful, carefree phase and gradually learning to embrace maturity. Just as Delcatty becomes more refined and composed, we too undergo transformations that shape us into more balanced, self aware individuals. Skitty's evolution reminds us that maturity is not about losing joy, but about finding a more graceful way to navigate life. Fact 77. The evolution of Magikarp into Gyarados. Magikarp, often mocked for its lack of power, evolves into the fearsome Gyarados, symbolizing that great strength can arise from the most unlikely of sources. This evolution represents the idea that even the most humble and seemingly insignificant beginnings can lead to extraordinary outcomes. Magikarp's transformation into Gyarados shows that growth often comes after enduring struggles and persevering through challenges. It teaches us that our value is not determined by where we start, but by our ability to evolve, rise above adversity, and channel our inner strength into something powerful and transformative, like the mighty Gyarados. Fact 78. The evolution of Horsea, a water-type Pokemon, evolves into Seadra, and then into Kingdra, symbolizing the deep connection to water and the natural world. Horsea's evolution represents the journey of becoming more attuned to one's environment and learning to navigate life with grace and fluidity. As it evolves, Horsea gains greater strength and control over its abilities, becoming Seadra and later Kingdra, a formidable force in battle. This transformation teaches us that growth often requires us to become more in tune with our surroundings, embracing change and flowing through life with flexibility, like the gentle waves of the ocean. Fact 79. The evolution of Shuckle. Shuckle, a Bugs Rock type Pokemon, is unique in that it evolves into its final form through its extraordinary defense mechanisms rather than through conventional growth. Shuckle is known for its hard, protective shell, which keeps it safe from many attacks. This Pokemon represents the strength that comes from building strong defenses, learning to protect ourselves and those we care about. Its evolution symbolizes how growth sometimes requires us to create safe spaces for ourselves, allowing us to evolve by fortifying our inner strength. Shuckle's journey reminds us that growth is not always about offense, but learning to shield ourselves when needed. Fact 80. The evolution of Larvesta evolves into Volcarona, a fire bug type Pokemon, symbolizing the process of internal combustion and the power of transformation. Larvesta's evolution into Volcarona represents the quiet intensity of change, where growth happens not through loud bursts, but through an internal fire that drives the transformation. As Larvesta evolves, it gains fiery wings and a greater sense of power, representing how, sometimes, growth comes through inner passions and desires. Volcarona's evolution reminds us that change doesn't always happen with fanfare. It is often the slow, steady building of inner strength that leads to our most beautiful and powerful transformations. Fact 81: The evolution of Bellsprout. Bellsprout evolves into Weepinbell and then into Victreebel, symbolizing the journey from vulnerability to power. Starting as a fragile plant like creature, Bellsprout gains strength and resilience as it evolves. Weepinbell and Victreebel's evolution represents the process of becoming more attuned to one's environment, gaining the ability to thrive even in challenging conditions. This transformation teaches us that growth is often about adapting and learning to make the most of what we have. Like Victreebel, we too must learn to survive, grow, and transform using what life gives us to build strength and purpose. Fact 82: The evolution of Baneri, a cute and energetic normal type Pokemon, evolves into Lopunny, a more elegant and graceful form. This evolution represents the transition from playful innocence to refined strength. Baneri's journey is one of self discovery, learning to embrace its power and elegance as it evolves into Lopunny. The transformation highlights the beauty of self expression and confidence, teaching us that growth often involves not just developing strength, but also learning to embrace who we truly are. Like Baneri, we evolve through experiences, stepping into our own potential and embracing the graceful power within us. Fact 83: The evolution of Trico, a grass-type Pokemon, evolves into Grovyle and eventually into Sceptile, marking a journey of strength and agility. Trico's evolution represents the gradual growth of resilience, learning how to adapt and thrive in different environments. As it evolves, Trico becomes more capable and powerful, symbolizing the transition from youthful curiosity to a focused, determined fighter. Sceptile, with its speed and precision, reminds us that growth is not always about size, but about agility and adaptability. Trico's evolution teaches us that sometimes the key to success is learning how to navigate life with grace and flexibility. Fact 84: The evolution of Sandil, a ground dark type Pokemon, evolves into Krokorok and then into Crocodile, showcasing the growth of determination and cunning. Sandily starts as a small, unassuming Pokemon, but becomes a strong, ferocious creature as it evolves. The journey from Sandali to Crocodile represents the development of strategy and strength, learning to use both the mind and body to succeed. Crocodile's evolution teaches us that growth involves not only physical change, but also mental and strategic development. We too must evolve by learning to adapt to the challenges around us, using our strengths wisely to overcome obstacles. Fact 85: The evolution of Litwick, a ghost fire type Pokemon, evolves into Lampent and then into Chandelure, symbolizing the journey from light to enlightenment. Litwick's evolution represents the gradual development of inner wisdom and power, moving from a flickering flame to a brilliant, commanding light. As it evolves, Litwick becomes more powerful, shedding its weakness and embracing its full potential. Chandelure, with its haunting beauty, teaches us that growth often comes from embracing our inner light and using it to illuminate the world around us. Litwick's transformation reminds us that we too can evolve into something more luminous with time and focus. Fact 86: The evolution of Inkay. Inkay evolves into Malamar through a unique condition. It must level up while the player's game console is held upside down. This peculiar evolution symbolizes the need to look at things from a different perspective. Inkay's transformation into Malamar represents the idea that growth often requires shifting our point of view. Sometimes, to progress, we must do things differently. Malamar's evolution encourages us to think outside the box, embrace unconventional solutions, and challenge our usual ways of thinking. It's a reminder that personal evolution often requires a fresh approach and the courage to change how we see the world. Fact 87: The evolution of Geodude. Geodude, a rock ground type Pokemon, evolves into Graveler and then into Golem, representing a journey from raw strength to refined power. Geodude begins as a simple, rock like creature, but as it evolves, it gains more agility and force. Graveler and Golem symbolize the transformation from something basic to something more formidable. This evolution speaks to the process of refining our raw abilities and using them strategically. Just as Geodude becomes Golem, we too can evolve by sharpening our skills and focusing our energy, turning potential into something solid and unstoppable. Fact 88: The evolution of Deerling, a grass-type Pokemon, evolves into Sawsbuck, a Pokemon whose form changes with the seasons. This evolution symbolizes the beauty of change and the cyclical nature of life. As Deerling evolves, it embraces the changing seasons, adapting its form to match the world around it. Sawsbuck's evolution teaches us that growth is not a linear process. It is seasonal, and we must learn to adapt to different stages in life. Just as Deerling's appearance shifts with each season, we too must learn to embrace the different phases of our own growth, allowing change to guide us naturally. Fact 89: The evolution of Axu, a dragon-type Pokemon, evolves into Fracture and finally into Haxorus, symbolizing the growth of inner strength and mastery. Axu begins as a small, relatively weak Pokemon, but gradually gains power as it evolves. Fracture and Haxorus represent the refinement of that raw power, transforming into a formidable force. This evolution teaches us that growth often begins with humble beginnings, but with time, dedication, and experience, we develop the strength to overcome any challenge. Like Axu, we must trust the process of evolution, knowing that even the smallest steps can lead us to great achievements. Fact 90: The evolution of Dratini. Dratini evolves into Dragonair and then into Dragonite, marking the journey from innocence to wisdom. Dratini's evolution into Dragonite is a metaphor for growth in both power and purpose. Dragonair, graceful and elegant, represents the beauty of learning and development, while Dragonite, strong and wise, embodies the culmination of all that growth. This evolution teaches us that as we grow, we move from simplicity to complexity, learning to use our power for greater good. Dratini's transformation into Dragonite reminds us that evolution is not just about gaining strength, but about becoming more attuned to the world around us. Fact 91: The evolution of Magnemite evolves into Magneton and then into Magnezone, representing the development of inner strength and synergy. Magneton's evolution into Magnezone is not just physical, it's symbolic of how alignment and connection can lead to greater power. As Magneton combines its magnetic forces into a more cohesive entity, it becomes Magnezone, a stronger, more focused force. This evolution teaches us that sometimes growth comes from finding the right connections, aligning ourselves with others, and using our collective strengths. Like Magnezone, we can evolve when we learn to harness the power that comes from unity and collaboration. Fact 92: The evolution of Phoebus. Phoebus, a water type Pokemon, evolves into melodic when it reaches a high beauty stat. This evolution represents the transformation from perceived weakness to true inner beauty. Phoebus starts as an unattractive, humble Pokemon, but through effort and care, it evolves into Milotic, a graceful and elegant water type. This transformation speaks to the idea that growth can often come from within, through nurturing self worth and recognizing beauty where others may not. Melodic's evolution is a reminder that inner beauty and strength can take time to emerge, but when they do, they shine brilliantly for the world to see. Fact 93: The evolution of Surskit, a water bug type Pokemon, evolves into Mascarin, symbolizing the journey from simplicity to elegance. Surskit starts as a small, unassuming bug, but as it evolves into Mascarin, it gains the ability to fly gracefully through the air. This evolution represents the beauty of transformation, showing that growth often brings a newfound sense of purpose and freedom. Mascarin's wings and fluid movements teach us that growth isn't just about gaining power, it's about becoming more attuned to who we are, finding grace and strength in the process, and soaring toward new possibilities with confidence. Fact 94: The evolution of Wailmer. Wailmer, a water type Pokemon, evolves into Wailord, a massive and powerful creature of the ocean. Wailmer's journey from a small, playful Pokemon to the imposing Wailord represents the idea of steady growth leading to great strength. This evolution is symbolic of how gradual, patient effort can lead to monumental results. Wailord, the largest non legendary Pokemon, teaches us that growth doesn't always happen quickly, but with time, it can lead to profound transformation. Wailmer's evolution is a reminder that our efforts, even if small at first, can result in great accomplishments when nurtured over time. Fact 95: The evolution of Cyndaquil. Cyndaquil evolves into Quilava and then into Typhlosion, representing the journey from innocence to fiery power. Cyndaquil starts as a timid, vulnerable Pokemon, but evolves into Quilava and Typhlosion, both forms filled with more confidence and strength. This evolution teaches us that personal growth often involves gaining confidence, overcoming fears, and tapping into our inner power. Just as Typhlosion's flames burn brightly, we too must find and fuel our passions, allowing them to drive us forward as we evolve into stronger versions of ourselves, able to face any challenge with determination and fire. Fact 96: The evolution of Hoothoot. Hoothoot evolves into Noctowl, a nocturnal Pokemon with keen sight and wisdom. This evolution symbolizes the growth of insight and perception, transforming from a simple, observant creature to one with greater understanding. Noctowl's ability to navigate the dark represents the wisdom gained from experience. It teaches us that growth often requires time and patience, allowing us to expand our understanding of the world and our place in it. Just as Noctowl can see clearly in the night, we too evolve to gain clarity in our lives, using knowledge and experience to guide us through challenges. Fact 97: The evolution of Totodile. Totodile evolves into Croconaw and then into Feraligator, representing the journey from playful innocence to powerful confidence. Totodile, a water based Pokemon with a playful personality, gradually becomes Croconaw and then Feraligatr, its ultimate form, gaining strength and agility. This evolution symbolizes the process of growing into one's own power, moving from a carefree state to a more confident, capable version of oneself. Just as Totodaily's playful nature matures into the ferocity of Feraligator, we too evolve by embracing our true strengths and stepping into our full potential with power and purpose. Fact 98: The evolution of Chikorita. Chikorita evolves into Bayleaf and then into Meganium, reflecting the growth of harmony and nurturing. Chikorita starts as a small grass type Pokemon with a leaf on its head, and as it evolves, it gains a deeper connection to nature and healing. Bayleaf and Meganium represent a more serene and peaceful phase of evolution where strength is combined with gentleness and care. This evolution teaches us that growth isn't just about gaining power, it's about finding balance and nurturing others as we grow. Meganium's evolution reminds us that compassion and harmony are essential parts of our development. Fact 99: The evolution of Croagunk evolves into Toxicroak, reflecting a transition from mischief to power. Croagunk is known for its mischievous nature, but as it evolves into Toxicroak, it becomes a formidable poison fighting type Pokemon. This evolution represents the process of gaining control over one's abilities and transforming them into something more powerful. Just as Croagunk sheds its playful trickster persona to become Toxicroak, we too evolve by learning to focus our energies and talents, using them to overcome challenges and achieve our goals with strength and determination. Fact 100: The evolution of Snivy evolves into Servine and then into Serperior, a journey of growth that emphasizes grace, elegance, and leadership. Snivy, a grass type Pokemon, begins as a small, graceful creature, but evolves into the more commanding Servine and eventually Serperior. Serperior's elegant movements and noble posture symbolize the beauty of strength that comes with maturity and confidence. This evolution teaches us that growth is not just about gaining power, but learning to use it with grace and poise. Like Snivy's evolution into Serperior, we must grow by embracing leadership, confidence, and the beauty of quiet strength. Fact 101: The evolution of Toxel, an electric poison type Pokemon, evolves into Toxtricity when it reaches level 30. Toxel's evolution represents the development of power and attitude. Toxel starts as a small, unassuming Pokemon with a playful personality, but transforms into the energetic and rebellious Toxtricity, reflecting the untamed energy of youth. Toxtricity's evolution shows how growth is often a reflection of our internal energy, and as we evolve, we may come to embody a more confident, dynamic version of ourselves. Just as Toxtricity embraces its rebellious spirit, we too can evolve by accepting our unique traits and expressing them fully. Fact 102: The evolution of Piplup, a water-type Pokemon, evolves into Prinplup and then into Empoleon, symbolizing the growth of nobility and self-assurance. Starting as a small, determined penguin, Piplup gradually gains confidence and strength, evolving into Prinplup and later Empoleon. Empoleon, with its regal appearance and commanding presence, embodies the idea of stepping into one's power with dignity. This evolution teaches us that growth often requires us to find our inner strength and assert ourselves. Just as Piplup becomes Empoleon, we too can evolve into individuals who lead with grace, power, and confidence in the world around us. Fact 103: the evolution of Buizel, a water type Pokemon, evolves into Floatzel, symbolizing the development of agility and strength. Buizel's journey from a small, playful creature to a more powerful and agile Pokemon is a reflection of how growth often involves learning to harness one's strengths. As Buizel evolves into Floatzel, it gains greater speed and control, becoming a formidable force in water. This evolution teaches us that growth is about refining our natural abilities and becoming more adept at navigating challenges. Just as Floatzel moves through water with ease, we too evolve by learning to navigate life's challenges gracefully. Fact 104: the evolution of Magmar. Magmar, a fire-type Pokemon, evolves into Magmortar when exposed to a Magmarizer, symbolizing the power of refinement and intensity. Magmar's evolution represents a fiery transformation as it sheds its earlier, more simplistic form and becomes the more powerful and formidable Magmortar. This evolution shows how growth can sometimes be sparked by external forces, like an experience or a tool that helps unlock new potential. Just as Magmortar's flames are more intense and focused, we too evolve by harnessing our inner fire, refining it, and learning how to use it to achieve our goals with precision and strength. Fact 105: the evolution of Geibel, a dragon ground type Pokemon, evolves into Gaebite and then into Garchomp, representing the growth of power and confidence. Geibel starts as a small, relatively weak Pokemon, but gradually transforms into a powerful and intimidating creature. Gabite and Garchomp symbolize the transition from humble beginnings to greatness, showing how we too can evolve through persistence and determination. This evolution teaches us that growth is not just about strength, it's about learning to use that strength wisely and embracing the responsibility that comes with it. Like Garchomp, we can evolve into powerful forces when we focus on our development. Fact 106: the evolution of Skorupi, a poison bug type Pokemon, evolves into Drapion when it reaches level 40. Drapion's evolution represents the transformation from vulnerability to resilience. Skorupi starts as a small, relatively weak creature, but grows into Drapion, a powerful Pokemon with both defensive and offensive capabilities. This evolution symbolizes the idea that growth often comes from developing the ability to protect oneself and face challenges head on. Just as Drapion's sharp pincers and tough exoskeleton make it formidable, we too evolve by building resilience, learning to protect ourselves and others, and using our experiences to grow stronger in the process. Fact 107: the evolution of Remoraid, a water-type Pokemon, evolves into Octillery, symbolizing the growth of adaptability and intelligence. Remoraid begins as a small, fish-like Pokemon, but as it evolves, it becomes the more sophisticated and intelligent Octillery. This evolution speaks to the idea that growth often involves developing new skills and ways of thinking. Octillery's ability to adapt to various situations and its creative use of ink and tentacles teach us that evolution is not just about physical strength. It's about learning to think and act resourcefully. Just as Octillery evolves by embracing adaptability, we too must learn to evolve through creative problem solving. Fact 108: the evolution of Swinub, a ground ice type Pokemon, evolves into Piloswine and then into Mamoswine, representing the journey from humble beginnings to ancient power. Swinub starts as a small, unassuming creature, but through its evolution, it grows into a powerful and majestic mamoswine, embodying strength and endurance. This evolution teaches us that growth can come from quiet resilience and steady progress. Just as mamoswine's massive tusks and powerful frame symbolize ancient strength, we too evolve through perseverance, learning to build strength from the ground up. Mama Swine reminds us that growth often comes slowly, but can result in something monumental. Fact 109. The evolution of Poliwag evolves into Poliwhirl and then into Poliwrath, symbolizing the transition from innocence to strength. Poliwag's evolution reflects the process of growth through the acquisition of skills and power. As Poliwag evolves, it gains more control over its abilities, transitioning from a timid water-type Pokémon to a more formidable Poliwrath. This evolution speaks to the journey we all take as we grow, moving from vulnerability to strength, learning to embrace the power within us. Poliwrath's transformation reminds us that growth is about learning to harness our abilities and use them with confidence and purpose. Fact 110. The evolution of Zubat evolves into Golbat, a powerful flying poison-type Pokémon, symbolizing the growth of independence and strength. Zubat, with its small, unremarkable form, becomes Golbat, a more confident and capable creature. Golbat's evolution teaches us that growth often involves developing the ability to stand on our own and face challenges independently. Just as Zubat learns to use its wings to soar and navigate the world, we too evolve by learning to navigate life's challenges with confidence and self-reliance. Golbat reminds us that sometimes growth means gaining the strength to move through the world with purpose and independence. Fact 111. The evolution of Burmy, a bug-type Pokémon, evolves into Wormadam or Mothim, depending on gender and environment. Burmy's evolution represents the concept of adaptation, as it changes its form to suit the environment it finds itself in. Wormadam, which evolves from female Burmy, takes on a protective, plant-like appearance based on its surroundings, while Mothim evolves from male Burmy into a more free-spirited form. This evolution teaches us that growth can be a response to our environment, reminding us that we, too, must adapt to the changes around us in order to thrive and flourish. Fact 112. The evolution of Chimecho, a psychic-type Pokémon, evolves into Chimecho through happiness, representing the growth that comes from emotional bonds. Its evolution showcases how connection and care shape one's development. Chimecho's gentle nature and ability to produce soothing sounds reflect the peaceful evolution that comes from nurturing positive relationships and emotional well-being. Just as Chimecho evolves through love, this transformation teaches us that emotional growth and the bonds we form with others play an essential role in our own journey, leading us to become stronger, more harmonious versions of ourselves as we learn to navigate life with kindness. Fact 113. The evolution of Hoothoot. Hoothoot evolves into Noctowl, a nocturnal Pokémon with enhanced vision and wisdom. This evolution symbolizes the growth of perception and understanding, as Hoothoot gains a greater ability to navigate the world around it. Noctowl's keen sight, even in darkness, speaks to the idea that wisdom and clarity often come with time and experience. This evolution reminds us that growth involves developing a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world, learning to see beyond the surface and navigate challenges with insight, just as Noctowl's ability to see in the dark allows it to move with confidence through the unknown. Fact 114: the evolution of Zorua, a dark type Pokemon, evolves into Zoroark when it experiences a strong bond with its trainer. Zoroark's evolution highlights the power of trust and connection. Zorua's playful and mischievous nature grows into Zoroark's ability to create illusions, symbolizing the way our abilities evolve when we trust ourselves and those around us. Zoroark's power to shape reality through illusions teaches us that transformation often comes through the belief in one's potential and the strength that comes from deep connections. Just as Zoroark uses illusions to create change, we evolve by shaping our reality through self assurance and trust. Fact 115: the evolution of Turtwig evolves into Grotle and then into Torterra, symbolizing the journey from small beginnings to immense power. Turtwig, a grass type Pokemon, begins as a small turtle with a plant on its back, slowly growing into the mighty Torterra, a powerful Pokemon with an entire ecosystem on its back. This evolution represents the growth that comes from steady progress, with each stage building on the previous one. Torterra teaches us that greatness often requires time and patience, reminding us that growth, though gradual, can lead to something monumental when we stay grounded and stay focused on our path. Fact 116: the evolution of Shinx evolves into Luxio and then into Luxray, representing the growth of power and confidence. Shinx begins as a small, energetic electric type Pokemon, but as it evolves, it gains strength and develops a sense of pride and leadership. Luxray, the final evolution, embodies the fierce, confident energy that comes from growth. This evolution teaches us that growth is not only about increasing our strength, but also about developing self assurance. Just as Luxray moves with grace and authority, we too evolve by learning to embrace our inner power and walk confidently on our journey towards self empowerment. Fact 117: the evolution of Piplup, a water type Pokemon, evolves into Prinplup and then into Empoleon, symbolizing the journey from dependence to independence. Piplup begins as a small, proud Pokemon that slowly evolves into Empoleon, a regal and commanding figure. This evolution represents how we grow from being reliant on others to becoming leaders in our own right. Empoleon's transformation teaches us that growth involves developing leadership and self-reliance, learning to take control of our destiny and navigate challenges with confidence. Like Piplup's evolution into Empoleon, we too must step into our power, taking on responsibility as we mature. Fact 118: the evolution of Pikachu, the beloved electric type Pokemon, evolves from Pichu when it forms a strong bond with its trainer. This evolution speaks to the power of friendship and trust. As Pichu evolves into Pikachu, it gains greater confidence and strength, becoming the icon we all know. This evolution reminds us that growth is often nurtured through our relationships. Just as Pikachu's strength grows through its bond with its trainer, we too evolve by cultivating deep, supportive connections with others. The transformation from Pichu to Pikachu is a beautiful reminder that love and friendship are key to unlocking our potential. Fact 119: the evolution of Swablu, a normal flying type Pokemon, evolves into Altaria, a majestic dragon flying type, symbolizing the transition from fragility to strength. Swablu starts as a gentle bird-like Pokemon, but as it evolves, it gains both strength and grace. Altaria's wings and serene nature reflect the power of transformation, as it evolves from a simple, unassuming creature to a majestic and powerful being. This evolution teaches us that growth is about embracing new strengths, refining our abilities, and learning to soar through life with confidence and poise, just as Altaria does as it spreads its wings and flies through the skies. Fact 120: the evolution of Abra. Abra evolves into Kadabra and then into Alakazam, representing the growth of the mind and intellectual power. Abra begins as a Pokemon with limited physical capabilities, but immense psychic potential. As it evolves, it gains the ability to use its psychic powers more effectively, culminating in Alakazam, a Pokemon of immense intellect and wisdom. This evolution speaks to the power of mental growth, showing that sometimes true strength comes from the mind. Alakazam's transformation reminds us that intellectual evolution, learning, thinking, and refining our ideas, is just as important as physical strength in our journey of growth. Fact 121: the evolution of Pidgey, a normal just flying type Pokemon, evolves into Pidgeotto and then into Pidgeot, symbolizing the evolution of freedom and strength. Pidgey begins as a small, unassuming bird, but as it evolves, it gains greater independence and power. Pidgeotto, then Pidgeot, represents the transformation from vulnerability to confidence, as the Pokemon gains the ability to soar high in the sky. This evolution teaches us that growth often involves breaking free from limitations and gaining the confidence to navigate the world on our own. Just as Pidgeot takes flight, we too evolve by embracing freedom and strength. Fact 122: the evolution of Zubat. Zubat evolves into Golbat, marking a journey of increased power and independence. Starting as a simple bat-like Pokemon, Zubat becomes Golbat, a much more capable creature with the ability to fly freely. This evolution represents the idea that growth can often be about gaining the ability to navigate life's challenges with ease. Just as Golbat becomes independent and powerful, we too evolve by learning to overcome obstacles and become more confident in our abilities. Golbat's transformation teaches us that growth often leads to greater independence and the strength to face the world head on. Fact 123: the evolution of Eevee into Vaporeon. Eevee evolves into Vaporeon when exposed to a water stone, reflecting the adaptability and transformation that comes with external forces. Vaporeon represents the graceful adaptation of Eevee into a powerful, fluid water-type Pokemon. This evolution is a reminder that change often comes from external sources, whether it's a new opportunity, experience, or moment of insight. Vaporeon's transformation shows us that sometimes growth involves adapting to new environments and embracing different ways of being, allowing us to find strength in our flexibility and ability to adjust to whatever life throws our way. Fact 124: the evolution of Shinx evolves into Luxio and then into Luxray, symbolizing the journey from small beginnings to powerful confidence. Shinx starts as a small energetic electric type Pokemon, but evolves into Luxray, a confident and powerful creature. This evolution reflects the process of gaining strength and confidence as we grow. Just as Luxray learns to command respect and exude power, we too evolve by developing the confidence to stand tall and face life's challenges with determination. This transformation teaches us that growth is about learning to trust our abilities and move forward with the strength that comes from belief in ourselves. Fact 125: the evolution of Magikarp. Magikarp, a water-type Pokemon, evolves into Gyarados, symbolizing the dramatic transformation from weakness to immense power. Magikarp, initially weak and limited to the move splash, undergoes one of the most iconic evolutions in Pokemon history, evolving into the powerful and ferocious Gyarados. This evolution speaks to the potential that lies within, even in the most unlikely places. Just as Magikarp's strength develops over time, we too evolve by persevering through challenges, slowly transforming into stronger versions of ourselves. The journey from Magikarp to Gyarados teaches us that growth often involves resilience and a belief in our own potential. Fact 126: the evolution of Froakie, a water type Pokemon, evolves into Frogadier and then into Greninja, symbolizing the growth of agility, strength, and independence. Froakie begins as a small, quick, and stealthy Pokemon, and as it evolves into Greninja, it becomes a master of water based combat. This evolution represents the development of self discipline, agility, and focus. Greninja's evolution teaches us that growth is about refining our abilities, learning to adapt to new challenges, and mastering the skills we need to succeed. Like Greninja, we must evolve by embracing our agility and becoming masters of our own strengths. Fact 127: the evolution of Snivy evolves into Servine and then into Serperior, representing the development of elegance, strength, and leadership. Snivy, initially small and agile, gains greater grace and power as it evolves into Serperior, a regal grass type Pokemon. This evolution speaks to the journey of growing not only in strength, but also in confidence and presence. Just as Serperior embodies leadership, we too evolve by learning to take on greater responsibilities, leading with grace and wisdom. Snivy's transformation reminds us that growth often involves gaining confidence in our abilities and embracing the power that comes with self assurance. Fact 128: the evolution of Combi, a bug/flying type Pokemon, evolves into Vespiquen, a powerful leader of a hive. This evolution reflects the importance of teamwork and leadership, as Combi evolves into a figure who leads the others. Vespiquen's power comes from its ability to guide and protect the hive, showing that leadership often involves service, responsibility, and the ability to care for others. This transformation teaches us that growth isn't always about individual power, but about learning how to serve and guide those around us, developing leadership skills that are rooted in compassion, care, and the collective good. Fact 129: the evolution of Skorupi, a poison bug type Pokemon, evolves into Drapion, a more formidable poison dark type. This evolution represents the shift from vulnerability to resilience and power. Skorupi's journey to Drapion reflects how growth often involves gaining the strength to defend oneself and overcome challenges. Drapion's sharp pincers and powerful defenses symbolize the development of inner strength and the ability to protect oneself. This evolution teaches us that growth often involves learning how to defend ourselves, adapt to new situations, and use our experiences to become more resilient, just as Drapion evolves into a fearsome and self-sufficient Pokemon. Fact 130: the evolution of Axu, a dragon-type Pokemon, evolves into Fracture and then into Haxorus, symbolizing the development of inner strength, leadership, and wisdom. Axo begins as a small, somewhat timid Pokemon, but evolves into the powerful Haxorus, a dragon-type powerhouse. This evolution shows how personal growth often involves moving through different stages, each one bringing greater strength, confidence, and leadership. Just as Axu evolves into Haxorus, we too go through phases of growth, gaining the wisdom and experience necessary to become leaders in our own lives. Hexorus teaches us that growth involves embracing challenges and overcoming them with courage. Fact 131: The evolution of Dratini. Dratini, a dragon type Pokemon, evolves into Dragonair and then into Dragonite, symbolizing the transformation from innocence to power. Dratini, small and gentle, begins its journey as a simple dragon like creature, but as it evolves into Dragonite, it becomes a majestic, powerful force. Dragonite represents the culmination of growth, gaining not just physical strength, but wisdom and leadership qualities. This evolution teaches us that growth is about embracing both our inner strength and the lessons life offers. Like Dragonite, we evolve by becoming stronger through experience, learning to navigate life's challenges with both grace and power. Fact 132: The evolution of Larvitar. Rocked dark type Pokemon evolves into Pupitar and then into Tyranitar, symbolizing the development of resilience and strength. Larvitar starts as a small, timid Pokemon hidden inside a tough shell. As it evolves, it gains more control over its power, eventually transforming into Tyranitar, a mighty, unstoppable force. This evolution reflects how we grow from being vulnerable to becoming strong and confident. Larvitar's journey teaches us that growth involves overcoming hardships, developing inner strength, and learning to face challenges with courage, just as Tyranitar does when it emerges from its cocoon of potential. Fact 133: The evolution of Eevee into Glaxion. Eevee evolves into Glaxion when exposed to an ice stone, symbolizing the beauty of transformation through external change. Glacion's evolution is a reminder that growth can be sparked by external forces, just as the ice stone triggers Eevee's evolution. The evolution represents purity, grace, and the cold beauty of winter. Glaceon's ice-like exterior and crystalline beauty remind us that transformation often requires external catalysts, and through these moments, we learn to embrace new aspects of ourselves. Like Glaceon, we evolve by adapting to external circumstances, allowing ourselves to shine in new forms. Fact 134: The evolution of Eevee into Leafeon. Eevee evolves into Leafeon when exposed to a moss rock, reflecting the connection between growth and nature. Leafeon represents the harmony between life and the environment, showing that evolution can be inspired by the world around us. As Eevee becomes Leafeon, it grows more connected to the earth, with its leafy body symbolizing the peaceful balance found in nature. This evolution teaches us that growth often requires us to connect with our surroundings, drawing strength from nature and the world we live in. Like Leafeon, we evolve by nurturing and aligning ourselves with our environment. Fact 135: The evolution of Eevee into Jolteon. Eevee evolves into Jolteon when exposed to a thunderstone, symbolizing the sudden burst of energy and change. Jolteon represents the power of transformation that comes in a flash, showing that sometimes evolution is sparked by external events that change our direction completely. Jolteon's electric speed and energy reflect the way growth can come quickly and unexpectedly, taking us from one phase to another with a rush of power. Just as Jolteon embraces its lightning-fast abilities, we too must learn to harness moments of change to move forward and transform into our most dynamic selves. Fact 136: The evolution of Gable into Garchomp Gable, a dragon ground type Pokemon, evolves into Gabite and then into Garchomp, symbolizing the journey from raw potential to powerful mastery. Gable starts as a small, somewhat timid dragon like Pokemon, but as it evolves, it becomes more confident and formidable, reaching its final form as Garchomp. Garchomp represents the culmination of its evolution, a powerful, resilient fighter. This transformation teaches us that growth involves not just gaining strength, but developing the confidence to face challenges head on. Like Garchomp, we evolve by learning to trust ourselves, developing the skills and strength needed to meet life's challenges with determination. Fact 137: The evolution of Togepi into Togetic. Togepi evolves into Togetic when it reaches a higher level of happiness with its trainer, symbolizing growth through emotional bonds and trust. Togepi's transformation into Togetic represents the idea that love, care, and positive connections can trigger transformation. As Togetic, it becomes more elegant and graceful, reflecting the peaceful evolution that comes from positive relationships. This evolution reminds us that emotional growth often precedes physical transformation. Just as Togepi evolves into Togetic through care and love, we too evolve by fostering trust and nurturing connections that help us grow into stronger, more self assured individuals. Fact 138: The evolution of Baneri into Lopunny. Baneri evolves into Lopunny, symbolizing the transition from playful youth to graceful maturity. Baneri, with its cute and energetic personality, matures into Lopunny, a more elegant and powerful form. This evolution reflects the journey of personal growth, where we move from a carefree phase into one of greater self awareness and strength. Lopunny's grace and poise teach us that growth is not only about gaining power, but about refining ourselves, learning to move through the world with confidence and purpose. Like Baneri, we must evolve by embracing change and stepping into a more elegant version of ourselves. Fact 139: The evolution of Swablu into Altaria. Swablu, a normal flying type Pokemon, evolves into Altaria, a dragon flying type Pokemon, representing the growth from simplicity to grandeur. Swablu starts as a small, humble Pokemon, but as it evolves, it transforms into Altaria, a majestic and powerful figure. This evolution speaks to the idea that growth often takes us from a modest beginning to something greater, with the potential to rise above challenges. Altaria's elegance and grace show us that growth doesn't always need to be aggressive. It can be graceful, steady, and marked by beauty. Like Swablu, we evolve by learning to embrace our potential with poise. Fact 140: The evolution of Chikorita into Meganium. Chikorita evolves into Bayleaf and then into Meganium, representing the growth of wisdom and nurturing power. Chikorita starts as a small, humble grass type Pokemon, but as it evolves into Meganium, it becomes a symbol of strength through compassion and care. Meganium, with its gentle and healing nature, reflects the beauty of nurturing growth, both in nature and in ourselves. This evolution teaches us that growth is not just about gaining power, but about learning to use that power with kindness and understanding. Like Meganium, we evolve by developing the wisdom to care for others and the world around us. Fact 141: The evolution of Exeggcute. Exeggcute, a grass psychic type Pokemon, evolves into Exeggutor, symbolizing the transition from simplicity to complexity. Exeggcute starts as a cluster of 6 egg-shaped Pokemon, but as it evolves, it becomes Exeggutor, a more powerful tree-like Pokemon. This evolution represents the growth of wisdom and strength, as Exeggutor gains not only physical power, but also an expanded mind. The process of evolution in Execute teaches us that growth often involves learning to combine different aspects of ourselves, growing from simple beginnings to more complex, fully realized versions of who we are. Fact 142. The evolution of Drifloon evolves into Drifbloom, symbolizing the journey from fragility to strength. Drifloon, a balloon Pokemon, is light and airy, representing an innocence that can easily be carried away. As it evolves into Drifbloom, it gains greater power and resilience, becoming a stronger, more formidable creature. Drifbloom's evolution shows that growth is not just about gaining strength, but about learning to hold our ground and face challenges with resilience. Like Drifloon, we may begin fragile, but through experiences and perseverance, we evolve into individuals who can rise above difficulties and navigate life's storms with grace. Fact 143. The evolution of Turtwig into Torterra. Turtwig evolves into Grotle and then into Torterra, representing the growth of grounded strength and leadership. Turtwig, with its small plant on its back, slowly transforms into Torterra, a massive Pokemon with an entire forest ecosystem on its back. This evolution symbolizes the quiet, steadfast growth that comes from staying grounded and remaining true to one's roots. Torterra's evolution teaches us that sometimes the path to greatness is slow and steady. Like Turtwig, we too must nurture our growth and stay connected to our foundations in order to reach the heights of our potential. Fact 144. The evolution of Totodile. Totodile evolves into Croconaw and then into Feraligatr, symbolizing the development of confidence and strength. Totodile begins as a playful, energetic Pokemon, but as it evolves into Croconaw and then Feraligatr, it gains power, agility, and confidence. This evolution represents the growth from carefree innocence to becoming a capable, fierce leader. Feraligatr's evolution teaches us that growth involves both developing our inner strength and learning how to use it wisely. Just as Totodile evolves into Feraligatr with each stage of growth, we too can evolve into more confident, powerful versions of ourselves, ready to face any challenge. Fact 145. The evolution of Charizard, the final evolution of Charmander, is a fire-flying type Pokemon that symbolizes the full realization of potential and freedom. Charmander, small and vulnerable, evolves into Charizard through perseverance and experience. Charizard, it gains the ability to fly and unleash powerful flames. This evolution speaks to the power of transformation through persistence. Charizard's freedom in flight teaches us that growth involves not just gaining power, but learning to use it responsibly and confidently. Just as Charizard rises above the ground, we too evolve by gaining the strength and confidence to rise above our challenges and soar. Fact 146. The evolution of Cyndaquil evolves into Quilava and then into Typhlosion, representing the growth of passion and intensity. Cyndaquil, with its small flames, evolves into Quilava and eventually into Typhlosion, a powerful fire-type Pokemon. This evolution symbolizes the development of inner fire, our passions and desires that grow with time. Typhlosion's flames reflect the intensity of transformation, showing us that growth often comes with energy and drive. Just as Cyndaquil becomes Typhlosion, we too evolve by learning to harness our inner passion, allowing it to guide us towards success while controlling the flames of our desires with focus and purpose. Fact 147. The evolution of Pidgey into Pidgeot. Pidgey evolves into Pidgeotto and then into Pidgeot, symbolizing the growth of strength and independence. Pidgey starts as a small, unassuming bird, but as it evolves, it gains the ability to soar high and free as Pidgeot. This evolution teaches us that growth is often a journey from vulnerability to power, where we learn to navigate challenges and claim our place in the world. Just as Pidgeot takes flight with confidence, we too evolve by gaining the strength to rise above obstacles, embrace our independence, and soar toward our goals with grace and determination. Fact 148: the evolution of Totodile into Feraligatr. Totodile, Croconaw, and Feraligatr's evolutionary path reflects a journey from innocence to powerful leadership. Totodile starts as a small and energetic water type Pokemon, but as it evolves into Croconaw and then into Feraligatr, it gains both strength and the wisdom of experience. Feraligatr, with its imposing presence and battle prowess, teaches us that growth often requires both time and experience to build strength. Just as Totodile transforms into Feraligatr, we too evolve by embracing challenges, learning from them, and stepping into roles that require us to lead with both confidence and resilience. Fact 149: the evolution of Eevee into Sylveon Eevee evolves into Sylveon when it forms a strong bond with its trainer and is exposed to a fairy type move. Sylveon's evolution symbolizes the power of love, friendship, and trust. As Eevee evolves into Sylveon, it gains a more graceful, elegant form with ribbons that represent the bonds it shares with others. This evolution teaches us that growth can come from emotional connection, that our relationships with others are key to unlocking our potential. Like Sylveon, we evolve by nurturing love, trust, and kindness, allowing those bonds to shape us into the best versions of ourselves. Fact 150: the evolution of Charmander into Charizard Charmander, starting as a simple fire-type Pokemon, evolves into Charizard, a majestic and powerful flying fire type. Charmander's transformation into Charizard reflects the growth from vulnerability to strength, from being a small, timid creature to a force of nature. Charizard represents freedom and power, using its fiery abilities to navigate the world with purpose. This evolution teaches us that growth is often about embracing our inner fire, finding the passion and strength within ourselves to overcome challenges and rise to new heights. Like Charmander, we evolve by learning to harness our own power and soar with confidence. Thank you for drifting through these Pokemon evolutions with me tonight. Each transformation, from the humble beginnings of a Magikarp to the majestic rise of a Charizard, reminds us that growth is a journey, slow, steady, and sometimes surprising. May your thoughts flow gently like a calm stream, carrying with them the inspiration of these stories of change and potential. As you relax and prepare for restful sleep, know that just like these Pokemon, you too have the power to evolve, to grow, and to reach your full potential. Good night, dear friend. May your dreams be as peaceful and transformative as the journeys we've shared.